Star Wars Action News is brought to you in part by Dorkside Toys. At DorksideToys.com, you can get the latest Star Wars toys, as well as Marvel, G.I. Joe, The Walking Dead, and more. Run by toy fans, you can be assured your order will be given great attention and packed with care. Sign up to their social channels now for stock alerts, reviews, and toy and movie news. DorksideToys.com. You'd be a dork not to shop there. Welcome to Star Wars Action News, your source for Star Wars collecting news, reviews, and convention coverage. Hosted by Marjorie and Arnie. Helping Star Wars collectors collect better. Be sure to check out our website at swactionnews.com, where you can see photos of the items discussed, chat with other listeners, find links to our Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube pages, support our Podbean crowdfunding campaign, and much more. Star Wars Action News, covering the whole galaxy of Star Wars toys.
Hello and welcome to episode 479 of Star Wars Action News. This is Marjorie.
This is Arnie. Excited to bring you this week's show. We've got Steve joining us from across the pond to talk Celebration Europe. We're going to be reviewing Kotobukiya's Artifacts plus Captain Phasma plus Comic-Con, and Jerry and Brock talking some Topps cards.
Wow. Yeah, Comic-Con is coming up, which is a very arduous convention.
But first is, of course, Star Wars Celebration Europe 3. Episode 3, they're not calling it 3, they've stopped numbering, but that makes it even more confusing. So we'll clumsily say Celebration Europe 2016. Steve and Daryl are there to cover it, and they are leading off the One Force stage schedule Saturday morning at 10:30, along with the Star Wars Collectors Cast having a live podcast. So be sure to head right over there when the floor opens on Saturday and check them out. They're going to have some special guests. And Hasbro announced an exclusive figure. We knew this was coming. From Toy Fair, they said they were going to have a Celebration Europe exclusive, which is the first time Hasbro's had a Celebration exclusive figure for a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time, hasn't it?
I think the Boba Fett with the Han and Carbonite.
Well, that was a shared one.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing here kind of too, is the Celebration Europe exclusive will be available also at San Diego, but the San Diego exclusive, we're still not quite sure if it's going to be at Celebration Europe, and the San Diego exclusive figure will be available at the London Film and Comic-Con later this year, so it's getting a little confusing what's on this side of the pond and what's on that side of the pond.
So wait, the San Diego one's going to be
at London Film and Comic-Con.
But it's not going to be at Celebration Europe.
We don't know.
But it's not been announced.
Right.
Okay. This is very confusing. Just buy whatever you see.
And the Celebration Europe one will be at San Diego, so therefore does the transitive property hold that it will also be at the London Film and Comic-Con? And limited amounts will be on Hasbro Toys Shop. But at Celebration Europe, you get an exclusive Kylo Ren unmasked with a slew of accessories.
Everyone's after that melted Vader head, which I can melt Vader heads all day long. Just give me some fire.
But it wouldn't be a miniaturized prop replica.
Sure it would be.
And this is an unmasked Kylo Ren, our first time getting that. And the accessory he comes with is his own mask, Vader's mask, and then a giant banner for the First Order. So I guess you could get a whole lot of those and really recreate the scene where Hux is riling up the troops.
The banner's an odd accessory.
Well, Steve's going to be there in person trying to get one. It's a little bit tricky to get, even if you're at Celebration Europe. So here he is to give you all those details.
Greetings all, this is Steve the Ginger Prince, man in the UK for Star Wars Action News. And it's all going a bit Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru over here at the moment. Our political system's collapsing quicker than Starkiller Base's thermal oscillator, our pound is about as valuable as Republic credits on Tatooine, and my football team got knocked out of the European Championships faster than you can say BB-8. Even Celebration Europe seems to have been a bit tarnished by a bit of the negativity that's hanging over the UK like a dark cloud at the moment. Just last week, the queuing and ticketing system for the event was announced, and I've got to be honest, it seems unnecessarily complicated. As a university-educated, registered scientist, I like to think I bring a certain amount of intelligence to most situations. But I've got to be honest, it took me more than 2 reads to try and get my head around just exactly how punters will be expected to get into Celebration and enjoy the events that they've already paid for. Starting by queuing for a wristband to the main Celebration stage at 6 o'clock every morning is a new one on us Celebration veterans, and it's only the start because then you have to queue to get into the venue. The organisers obviously thought that dressing up all of this in cute Star Wars references to chutes and light speed lanes would soften the blow. But if you thought you weren't going to be faced with an excessive amount of queuing, think again. On top of this, the recently revealed cost of acquiring the autograph of some of the actors behind your favourite characters was like being hit by a bolt from Chewbacca's bowcaster. At the inaugural Celebration Europe in 2007, I paid £85 to meet Mark Hamill and get his signature. An experience I'll never forget, partly for the fact that he seemed more interested in my wife's chest than he did on talking to me. Anyway, if I wanted to get his autograph in a couple of days' time, I'd be forking out £135. Let that sink in. £135. That's a whopping £50 more, an increase of 59% on the original cost. And it's not just the big three, it'll cost you £30 more for Tony Daniels, £25 more for Peter Mayhew's autograph, and £15 more for Kenny Baker. This can't be right, or justified, and is made even more obvious by the fact that if you want to get Jeremy Bullock's autograph, it'll be exactly the same price as it was 9 years ago. I salute you, Boba Fett. The price isn't the only disappointing thing. The range of guests is really limited. The same old tired faces, no one from the new film, and no first-time signers plucked from the wealth of minor characters that the franchise has. So with all of this, am I actually looking forward to Celebration? You bet your ass I am. And so should you be if you've got a pass. Celebration Europe isn't about the panels or the autographs, it's about the experience and the people you meet. Those friends you only see once every, that's no moon, and those folk you're going to meet for the first time. Yes, of course I'd like to see Ryan, Rain Johnson talk about Ep8, or that Welsh fella talk about Rogue One. But bollocks to it if you think I'm getting out of bed at 6 AM to queue if I can get into a side room where they're going to stream those panels. Yes, if I didn't already have Luke's autograph, then I'd want it, but think how many cool collectibles that £135 could buy instead. There'll be plenty to do and see besides the celebration stage and the autograph hall. For example, the display of costumes and props from Rogue One is sure to be awesome. The Biker Scout Charity Helmet Project continues a proud tradition started at the first Celebration Europe with the Vader Helmet Project, and will be a must-see. The fan and collector stage are some great panels, looking at areas as varied as science, technology, engineering and maths in the franchise, collecting in the current economic climate, and the unique effect of the British company Palitoy on Star Wars toys. A particular must-see on this stage will be the That's No Moon, That's a Pencil Sharpener panel at 1:30 on the middle day of the con. It's to be joint hosted by my good friend Craig Spivey, and will focus on vintage Star Wars stationery from UK licensees such as Helix and Letraset. The Galaxy stage and behind the scenes stage also have some great looking panels, ranging from an appearance by the folks from famous Waxworks Madame Tussauds talking about their excellent Star Wars exhibition, through to an opportunity to hear the genius Doug Chang talk about the work he's done in designing the Star Wars universe. And don't forget the 1/4 stage. In particular, turn up at 10:30 AM on the middle Saturday as we join forces with the chaps from the Star Wars Collectors Cast to bring you some live podcasting action. We'll be covering what we found at the first day of the con, and we'll also have a couple of special guests joining us live. Of course, even if you're not at the con, you'll be able to hear the show a little later on, but if you're there, we'd love you to join us. Talking about what we'll be finding on the con floor, there's a number of con exclusives that I'm particularly excited about. As someone who's dabbling in the 6-inch Black Series line, I'm of course interested in the Hasbro Black Series convention exclusive, an unmasked Kylo Ren that will set you back £32.99. He comes replete with a lightsaber, cool melty Vader head, and a nifty First Order banner that makes it look like he's got a stall at a Knights of Ren convention and he's setting up ready to attract new members. Sounds good, doesn't it? But the real trick will be getting hold of one. The figure will be made available from the Forbidden Planet booth, which will release a limited quantity of the figure on each day of the con. But it's not that simple. One needs to collect a ticket for a figure from a queue hall, and then take it to the booth at a time specified on the ticket, either 10 AM to 1 PM or 1 PM to 4 PM. This elaborate purchasing procedure is apparently to maintain civil order and avoid chaos. We'll see if it's all necessary. At the last Celebration Europe, there seemed to be loads of the Black Series 6-inch Boba Fett available, and you could get as many as you wanted. Forbidden Planet seemed to be the must-go-to store, as they're holding a number of other exclusives. The Star Wars Insider are doing 2 variant covers for the show. One dark side with Ren on the front, and one light side with Rey on the cover. Which will you choose? Well, at £7 each, I'm certain I won't be picking both up, despite being an Insider collector. Also at the FP booth, you can pick up an unpainted prototype of R2-D2 in 1/6 scale. I'm not sure who's manufactured this, but for £199, I think I'd want it to be finished. Recently on the show, there's been a lot of talk about the Tamashii Nation's Japanese styly figures, and there's a special version of their Tepu Ashigaru Sandtrooper available at their booth exclusive to this con and San Diego. What's special about him appears to be a new charcoal black pauldron, but he's also armed to the teeth with a couple of cool guns and a katana. You'd think twice about trying to Jedi mind trick him. There's only one exclusive that I will absolutely have to pick up though, or else my recently celebrated 20 years of marriage might be coming to an end rather quickly. And that's the 3-piece plush Ewok family set limited to 1,000 pieces at the Toink Toys booth. Now this Papa, Mama with baby and toddler set of Ewoks in a basket doesn't look anywhere near as good as the one we picked up at a previous Celebration store, but the lovely Suzanne has to have all the Ewoks. To be truthful, it'll be nice to have stuff to consider buying at Celebration. The state of collecting on the pegs is a bit woeful at the moment here in the UK, particularly in the 3 3/4 inch field. I'm really disappointed with the range of Force Awakens figures that we've been given, and within that, what we've actually been able to find. I'm not fussed about articulation at this stage. There are loads of exciting characters in The Force Awakens that Hasbro could make in 5 or more POA that I would buy at the drop of a hat. But we've been limited to different versions of Kylo, variations on the troopers, and a handful of the other main and incidental characters. Of that, there's a lot I just can't find, no matter how many Asdas I trawl round. For example, the more articulated funny hairstyle Leia has been a complete non-starter for me, as has the Takadana multi-pack with the Maz Kanata figure in, and the lesser articulated chubby-fingered Unkar Plutt figure. With these more recent figures, I'm having exactly 0 portions of luck. All I see is further and further reductions on Guavian Enforcers and cheap Ghost Tours. All good if you've played the long game, and that's the proper long game, not Berent's version. I have played the long game on a few of the pricier figure plus vehicle sets, and I'm hoping to now pick up a few bargains. For example, I found the First Order Stormtrooper Commander with Assault Walker in the Disney store yesterday for £12.47. That's a big saving on the original $24.99 sticker price. I'll chuck the Walker as all I want is the figure, but I can live with it at that price, when I would never have picked it up at full price. Without a shadow of a doubt, the best thing I've picked up in the last month, and possibly the best thing I've picked up in the last 5 years, comes from Justin, our very own Justin. As soon as I saw the custom vintage style cards that he'd done, I wiped my bleeding eyes dry and then got on his website and ordered me some. If you've been on my Twitter lately, that's at TGP73 if you haven't, you'll have seen that I took my loose Force Awakens Akbar and put him back in a plastic coffin on one of Cozy's cards. And I love it more than I could ever love a child. The good news is that with the Creative Talent's blessing, I'll be giving away a Force Awakens figure on one of Justin's custom cards over the 3 days of Celebration, along with some other goodies from JK himself. All you need to do is follow mine or the Star Wars Action News Twitter to find out how. Anyway, that's enough waffle from me. Lord knows you'll be hearing enough of me over the next couple of weeks. Don't forget to turn up at 10:30am on Saturday the 16th for some live fun, and I'll pass you back to the people that we all know you wish were able to podcast live from Celebration Europe.
Thanks for watching this video. You can see full episodes of Star Wars Action News with more collecting news and reviews at swactionnews.com. We also have thousands of toy and collectible photos in our photo gallery. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. May the pegs be stocked and the Force be with you.